What's going on, guys? Jacob Borth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas. Coming to you guys as the sun is setting here. You guys can see a sign for Bagel Mania back there behind me. You guys can see the expanded Las Vegas Convention Center over here, and the original Las Vegas Convention Center is like just over there a little bit on Paradise Road. So coming to you guys today to talk about something going on here in 2022 as Las Vegas, continues to expand, right? And continues to grow. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the 5 biggest threats to Las Vegas in 2022. As always, if there's something I missed in this video, I expect you guys to give me your thoughts and opinions down below. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel because, man, there's going to be a lot more to talk about in 2022. That's for damn sure. So let's go ahead and jump into this, all right? So let's talk about the elephant in the room that has been all over the news now for a year plus, even though it's not as much in the news as it used to be. And that is the first thing, is the virus spreading again, okay? When it comes to the coronavirus, when it comes to, remember here in Nevada, we shut down during the pandemic, like I think just about every state did, with the exception of maybe a few. We shut down for 2.5 months. We reopened without a mask mandate initially. And then later a mask mandate was put in place. And then later it was, you only had to wear a mask if you've been if you have not been vaccinated, but there's no way to enforce that, right? So, and then it just became now everybody has to wear one inside, whether you've been vaccinated or not. So people who had been vaccinated and have to wear one are now pissed, and people who weren't going to wear one anyway, weren't going to wear one anyway. So we've been back and forth with a lot of the different rule changes, the way I'll put it here, with the vaccine and with wearing a mask and things like that here in the state of Nevada. California and New York, they went pretty hard, with being really strict. Texas and Florida, they went pretty hard the other way, being no, we're not doing any of that. Nevada's kind of done this middle ground thing. And I heard a couple times, I forgot exactly what it was, and Nevada is was it one of 6 states? I don't know if it was an indoor mandate or something. It's hard to keep up with what all the different states are doing now. But anyway, when you come to Nevada, there is a mandate per Governor Sisolak that you're supposed to be wearing the mask indoors, okay? Now that is what they're saying, is you're supposed to wear the mask indoors. I do not expect that to go away anytime soon in 2022. I think it's going to be around for a while. And understand too that the idea is one thing, but the enforcement is another. So the first time around when we had the mask mandate, lots of businesses were strict about it, about you wearing it inside. They had staff going around checking and that kind of thing, doing what they could to try to monitor and regulate and enforce as best they could. But this last time around, and what's going on currently, I can tell you, there are some places that really do try to enforce, and there are ones who don't care at all. They say nothing when you walk into a place without a mask on. And there's others that are kind of in the middle of the road where you walk in, they'll want you to have a mask on or they'll give you one, but people take it off inside and they say nothing. So the idea is one thing, the enforcement's another. Even these massive casinos, they try to enforce it when there's so many people coming in and out of these casinos, there's so many people inside them on the casino floor, walking through, passing through, they can only enforce as best they can. So that's one of the big things here in Las Vegas is how are you going to enforce something like that? There's not enough manpower to actually enforce something like that. And it's going to be a continuing battle here in Las Vegas going forward, right? The Clark County School District, they got served a $200 million lawsuit by 14 parents in September 2021 over the mandate in schools. And the big thing really for Vegas is even if, say COVID was gone today, just disappeared, not in Vegas. Well, what's going to happen the second you open, Vegas up to travel to thousands of people coming in and out every single day from all over the world? It's kind of like a place that's perfect for virus to spread, right? So don't expect the mask, at least the indoor mandate, to be gone anytime soon, all right? Now, the second thing we're going to talk about as a threat to Las Vegas in 2022 is the fact that conventions are not entirely back. And this can kind of play off of the coronavirus, especially with now the most recent variant, right? If it gets worse, well, some of the conventions that were planning to come back in 2022 all of a sudden withdraw again, or they say, hey, we're just going to go virtual, or something along those lines. Okay, CES, they're requiring vaccination proof. NAB canceled in 2021, but they are coming in 2022, at least for now. So that's been an issue when it comes to conventions coming here with the mask mandate, with the mask mandate, and just with the issues with the virus in general. Because lots of people, I don't think they understand how huge conventions are as far as revenue for this city, for the county, for the state of Nevada. Because lots of people think of Vegas, they think of coming here to party, to gamble, right? To go drink, go to the day clubs and nightclubs and that kind of thing. They think of it as party place, Sin City. And Vegas obviously offers that. It has that reputation for a reason. But during the weekdays, that Monday through Thursday particularly, that is huge for having businesses come here and for conventions right over here at the Las Vegas Convention Center, or, over at Venetian, right, at Las Vegas Sands, or whether, at the Mandalay Bay, or wherever, the convention is being held. Conventions and meetings are huge during the week here. That helps fill the hotel rooms big time. Another thing when it comes to conventions that's huge is the fact that the average business traveler spends more than just someone who's coming here, for their own leisure. Because business travelers come and they can write all kinds of stuff off on their taxes when they're spending on their business card, right? Because they're coming for a business trip, they're coming here for work. And you can deduct work expense, you can deduct travel, you can deduct hotel stays, you can deduct meals, and I think it's 2021 and 2022 at 100% of work meals and that kind of thing. So, I mean, for business travelers to be coming here is absolutely huge for the overall financial health of Las Vegas and the overall financial health of the state of Nevada. The third threat we'll talk about here to Las Vegas is gambling. And not gambling here, I'm talking about gambling everywhere outside of here, okay? Over the years now, gambling has become more and more common all over the country, right? Las Vegas, this, I guess you could say Nevada and like New Jersey kind of used to have like this monopoly, if you will, when it comes to gambling. So you had Las Vegas, you had Reno, you had Atlantic City. But now, aside even from people just being able to gamble like at their local native casinos, gambling online become more and more popular and become more and more legalized. Other states like California, there's some debate about, legalizing gambling more there. There's been a push recently in Texas to legalize gambling there and that kind of thing. So, over time, I mean, Vegas, it was going to probably see more and more competition coming from other places when it comes to gambling. Now, the good thing for Las Vegas in recent years is that it's also forced Vegas to diversify itself when it comes to hospitality. So when people say like really stupid things, like, they think gambling's like other places have gambling, therefore Vegas is going to die off. Like, no, that's dumb. That's stupid to think. Okay, because over the years, what has Vegas done? Right, it's become a place that's focused more on conventions. Right, the convention crowd, food and beverage. Right, the revenue that comes from food and beverage has been going way up compared to gaming revenue, right? Having more nightclubs, right? Years ago, a lot of these strip hotels and casinos didn't even like to have nightclubs inside them. They didn't want them there. Now they are inside there. So you have nightclubs here. You have way more shopping here now. You have lots of shows. You have lots of things that still focus on hospitality, but it's not just gambling. It's not just gambling like generations ago. So Vegas has become really more, it's always had the gambling, it's had some shows, right, and food and that kind of thing, but it's had to diversify to offering more, right? Obviously you have massive sporting events, massive concerts, right? Some huge performers who come here, huge events. So it's really become, actually in a lot of ways, more focused on events than just gambling. So Vegas has had to diversify itself from becoming too reliant on gambling, and Vegas will be okay in the future, even if gambling revenue continues not to do as well. Now, the fourth thing we'll talk about as a threat here to Las Vegas in 2022 is the water drought, right? Lake Mead. This is one thing that I get all kinds of comments on, particularly over the summertime as it was in the news again. Now, I'm not going to go super heavy on this because I did my first video on Lake Mead water levels, 5 years ago, something like that. And then a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I did not one, not two, but 3 videos with the public information officer from the Las Vegas Valley Water District named Bronson Mack. I'll either probably have to link those down in the description. I can maybe link them in a card. Well, I don't know. I can only do one at a time in a card, but I can put them down in the description or something like that. And you guys can watch those if you like, okay? But understand that for decades now, Las Vegas has been the leading city in the country for how to conserve water. All right, the Colorado River, remember, the water is shared with 7 states and Mexico that share that water. Nevada only gets 2% of that water. That's all we get, 2%. We get by far the least amount of water from the deal that we have when it comes to the Colorado River. The next closest is New Mexico at 5%. So even the next closest place gets 2.5 times the amount of water that we do here in Southern Nevada. So that's part of why we've had to do so well with conserving, is because we've had to here. Now, there are other options. People think that, that means, Vegas is going to dry up and die. Like, no. When you hear people saying something stupid like, in a year from now, there's going to be no water and people are going to be killing each other for a drink, again, that's stupid. That's dumb. All right? There are options when it comes to this, okay? Even if the federal government has to get involved, there are options. There are millions and millions of people reliant on that water supply. So there's things that we could do, actually we have some water underground here in Las Vegas. I think it's only about 10% of our water supply, but you can also buy water rights from other places. You could buy them from another state. You can actually do it. You could actually pay for some of their water and that kind of thing. So there are options, just a few that I've shared with you, and others that, I'm probably not thinking of, or other people who are more involved with it may know. But in 1 year from now, Las Vegas is not going to become, some anarchy over people trying to kill each other just for water. The fifth biggest threat we'll talk about, and the final one to visiting Las Vegas, is really just expensive to visit. I mean, kind of in some ways, it's like Las Vegas is its own worst enemy when it comes to some of the ways they treat tourists, with resort fees, with parking fees, with cost of food, the alcohol. People feel like they're getting nickel and dimed. With Caesars most recently, where they don't give you the change on your voucher, so people just like leave it, say screw it. So now they can, you know, like if you want to get that change, you have to go to the cage and do it. They make it more of a hassle for you to do that. So, you know, those kinds of things that frustrate people when they feel like they're being nickel and dimed here in Las Vegas, and sometimes it makes them upset, and some people don't want to come back. Now, I see that in the comments, and of course there's lots of people who say that they're angry, they're irritated, they want to go to Reno instead, or they just cut back on how often they come to Vegas and that kind of thing. But even though people complain about that and they get upset about that here on this channel, one, that's only a fraction like of the people who come to Las Vegas, right? You know, 40+ million people in a normal year come to Vegas. You know, I don't have that much influence over all of them. Okay, so people who get in the comments section, that's just like one little bit of people that, you know, come here to Vegas regularly. Now, the thing to remember though is when we look at the numbers for these businesses, the numbers are telling a different story. So in 2021, it's been a year that has been record-breaking in terms of revenue for Southern Nevada, even with lower numbers than normal of tourists visiting here. So, I mean, this goes all the way back to the spring with all the money these casinos are making. They were breaking records in the spring, or I don't know about in the spring, but definitely in the summer they were, and in the third quarter they were. And one of the most recent articles I saw said we have 27% fewer tourists visiting than normal. So they're making way more money. They're making more money now than we have in normal years. Like, you know, not even counting 2020, like making more now than they were in 2019. So what does that tell you? When more people are going to start coming back in 2022 and beyond, those fees are going to go up because more people are coming, because more people are willing to pay those fees. That's really what it means. These casinos and hotels, they will charge what people are willing to pay. That's what they're going to do. They're going to charge what people are willing to pay. And if people are already willing to pay the fees and this kind of thing now, and Vegas is not as busy now as it normally is in terms of the number of people coming here, and they're already making more money than they were before, when more people come back, those fees are going to go up. These prices are going to go up. It's just going to happen. It's just basic supply and demand when it comes to economics. So, guys, tell me what you think about this down below. If there's something I missed, definitely I want to hear about it. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That is going to be it for this video. I am Jacob, and this is My Life in Vegas.